Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Isabella Norris, and if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you or someone you love has been told you need to cut bread out of your life because of diabetes. I've been practicing medicine for over 15 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've sat across from a patient, usually a guy in his 60s or 70s, and watched his face drop when I mention watching his carbs. The first thing they always say is, "Doc, does that mean no more bread?" And I get it. Bread is a staple. It's what you grew up on. It's your morning toast, your lunchtime sandwich, the roll you grab at dinner. Telling a man to give up bread feels like telling him to give up a piece of who he is. But here's the thing, and this is what I wish every doctor would tell their patients right from the start. You do not have to give up bread. You just have to pick the right kind. Today, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific breads that can actually help you manage your blood sugar instead of spiking it through the roof. And I'm not just going to throw names at you. I'm going to tell you exactly why each one works, how to eat it, what brands to look for at the grocery store, and I'll even share a couple of simple recipes you can make at home. Because that's the number one thing people ask me, both in my clinic and in the comments. They say, "That sounds great, Doc, but where do I find it and how do I make it?" So I'm going to answer that today. Before we get going, do me a favor and tap that like button. It helps more people find this information, and honestly, if this video saves even one guy from thinking he has to live without bread for the rest of his life, that's worth it. All right, let's start. The first bread I want to talk about is oat bread. Now, if you only remember one bread from this entire video, make it this one. Oat bread is what I recommend to almost every single one of my diabetic patients, especially the guys, because it's filling, it's hearty, and it actually tastes like real bread. None of that cardboard nonsense. The reason oat bread works so well for blood sugar comes down to something called beta-glucan. It's a specific type of soluble fiber found in oats that slows down how fast your body digests carbohydrates. What that means in plain English is that instead of your blood sugar shooting up like a rocket after you eat, it rises slowly and gently. You get steady energy without the crash. And here's a bonus. Beta-glucan also helps with cholesterol, which is something a lot of men over 50 need to keep an eye on anyway. So you're getting a 2-for-1 deal with oat bread. Now, how do you actually eat this stuff? My favorite way is dead simple. Toast a slice, spread on some natural peanut butter, and put a few banana slices on top. That's a breakfast that'll keep you going until lunch without your blood sugar bouncing around. If you're more of a savory guy, try a slice with a little cream cheese and some cucumber. It's light, it's refreshing, and it's packed with fiber. For a quick dinner idea, you can even make mini pizzas with oat bread. Just spread some tomato sauce on a slice, add a little mozzarella and some oregano, and pop it in the oven until the cheese melts. Takes about 10 minutes, and it's way better for you than ordering delivery. When you're shopping, look for brands like Dave's Killer Bread Organic Oat or Pepperidge Farm Oat. Just make sure the first ingredient says whole oat or oat flour, not enriched wheat flour. That's the trick. If wheat flour is listed first, put it back on the shelf. One more tip. Oat bread freezes beautifully. Buy a loaf, slice it up, and keep it in the freezer. Pull out a slice whenever you need it, pop it in the toaster, and you're good to go. The second bread is rye bread, and this one is kind of an unsung hero. When most guys think of rye, they think of a Reuben sandwich at a deli. And yeah, that's a great use for it, but there's a lot more to rye than that. Rye flour digests more slowly than regular wheat flour, and it has a lower glycemic index. That means it releases sugar into your bloodstream gradually instead of all at once. For a diabetic, that's exactly what you want. Rye is also loaded with fiber, which keeps you feeling full longer. And when you feel full, you're not reaching for chips or cookies between meals, which is where a lot of guys get into trouble with their blood sugar. I had a patient, a retired firefighter out of Boston, who switched from white bread to rye for his daily sandwiches. Nothing else changed in his diet. Within 3 months, his fasting glucose numbers dropped noticeably. Now, that's just one person, and everyone's different. But it shows you what a simple swap can do. For eating rye bread, you really can't beat a classic deli-style sandwich. Pile on some turkey, fresh arugula, a slice of Swiss cheese, and a little mustard. That's a lunch that's going to fuel you through the afternoon. If you want something lighter, toast a slice and top it with some cottage cheese and a sprinkle of black pepper. Great protein, great fiber, minimal sugar impact. You can also cube up rye bread, toss it with a little olive oil and herbs, and bake it until it's crunchy for homemade croutons. Throw those on a salad, and you've got yourself a meal. At the store, look for brands like Mestemacher or Pepperidge Farm Dark Pumpernickel. The key is finding rye bread where whole rye flour is near the top of the ingredient list. Avoid anything that lists sugar or high fructose corn syrup in the first few ingredients. Third on my list is whole grain bread, and I know what you're thinking. Doc, isn't all brown bread whole grain? No, sir, it is not. This is one of the biggest misconceptions out there. A lot of breads that look brown and healthy are actually just white bread with some coloring or a tiny bit of whole wheat mixed in. Real whole grain bread is made from the entire grain kernel, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. That means all the fiber, vitamins, and minerals stay intact instead of getting stripped away during processing. For blood sugar management, that fiber is everything. It slows down digestion so glucose enters your bloodstream at a steady pace instead of flooding in all at once. Whole grain bread is also packed with B vitamins, magnesium, and iron, nutrients that a lot of older men don't get enough of. I always tell my patients, read the label carefully. The first ingredient should say whole something, whole wheat, whole oats, whole rye. It doesn't matter which grain, but that word whole has to be there. If it just says wheat flour or multigrain, that's not the same thing. Multigrain just means multiple grains were used. It doesn't tell you whether they were whole or refined. Good brands to look for include Dave's Killer Bread, 21 whole grains, Ezekiel 4-9, and Arnold whole grains. These are widely available at most supermarkets across the country. For a solid breakfast, toast a slice of whole grain bread and top it with mashed avocado, a pinch of salt, and some red pepper flakes. That combo gives you healthy fats, fiber, and slow-burning carbs to start your morning right. For lunch, make a sandwich with grilled chicken breast, lettuce, tomato, and a little bit of hummus instead of mayo. You'll barely notice the difference in taste, but your blood sugar will definitely notice the difference. Number 4 is flaxseed bread, and this one is a powerhouse. Flax seeds are one of the richest plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids, the same heart-healthy fats you hear about with fish. For men with diabetes, that's critical because diabetes increases your risk of heart disease, and omega-3s help fight inflammation and support cardiovascular health. So flaxseed bread isn't just managing your blood sugar, it's protecting your heart at the same time. The fiber content in flaxseed bread is also impressive. It slows down the absorption of sugar, keeps you feeling satisfied, and supports healthy digestion. A lot of my older male patients tell me they struggle with digestive issues, and adding more fiber through something as simple as switching their bread can make a real difference. For a quick and easy meal, spread some guacamole on a slice of flaxseed bread. The healthy fats from the avocado combined with the omega-3s from the flaxseed make this one of the most nutritious snacks you can eat. If you want something more filling, make a sandwich with grilled chicken, some arugula, and your favorite cheese. It's hearty, satisfying, and it won't wreck your glucose levels. Here's a recipe I give to a lot of my patients because it's simple and it tastes great. Take a slice of flaxseed bread, toast it, and top it with diced tomatoes, a little minced garlic, some fresh basil, and a drizzle of olive oil. It's basically a bruschetta, and it takes about 5 minutes to put together. When you're at the store, look for brands like Dave's Killer Bread Good Seed or Silver Hills Sprouted Flax. Make sure flaxseed or flax meal is listed high up in the ingredients, not buried at the bottom as an afterthought. And just like the other breads, flaxseed bread freezes well, so stock up when you find a good one. The 5th bread is sprouted grain bread, and this one is a little different from everything else I've talked about. Sprouted bread isn't made from flour at all. Instead, the grains are soaked in water until they begin to sprout, and then those living sprouts are mashed together and baked at low temperatures. This process does something really interesting. It activates enzymes that break down the starches in the grain, which means less of that starch converts to sugar in your body. The result is a bread with a lower glycemic index than conventional bread. Sprouted bread is also incredibly nutrient dense. Most sprouted grains contain all 9 essential amino acids, making this bread a complete protein source. That's unusual for a plant-based food, and it's especially valuable for older men who need to maintain muscle mass. The most well-known brand is Ezekiel 4-9 by Food for Life. You'll usually find it in the freezer section of your grocery store, not the bread aisle. because it doesn't have the preservatives that keep regular bread shelf stable. That's actually a good sign. It means you're getting a cleaner product. Now, I'll be honest with you, sprouted bread has a denser texture than what you might be used to. Some guys love it right away and some need a little time to adjust. My advice is to always toast it. It makes a huge difference in both taste and texture. It gets this nice, crispy exterior while staying soft inside. Sprouted bread works great for open-faced sandwiches. Toast a slice, pile on some turkey, avocado, and a little Dijon mustard. It's a fantastic lunch. For breakfast, try it with a thin layer of almond butter and a few berries on top. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about something that came up in a lot of comments I've been seeing, and it's important. Some folks out there recommend putting honey on bread as a natural sweetener, and I need to be straight with you about this. Honey is natural, yes, but it is still sugar. Pure, concentrated sugar. It will raise your blood sugar just like table sugar does, sometimes even faster depending on the type. If you have diabetes, please do not use honey as a sweetener on your bread thinking it's a safe alternative. It is not. If you want a touch of sweetness, use a diabetic-friendly sweetener like stevia or monk fruit. These have zero impact on your blood sugar and they taste great. You can also use a sugar-free fruit spread. Just check the label to make sure it's sweetened with something safe and not loaded with artificial junk. I also want to address another common question. Where do you actually find these breads? I know it can be frustrating when someone tells you to eat a certain food and then you go to your local supermarket and it's nowhere to be found. Here's what I tell my patients. Start with the big chains. Walmart, Kroger, Safeway, Publix, most of them carry at least 2 or 3 of the brands I mentioned today, especially Dave's Killer Bread and Ezekiel. Check the freezer section too, not just the bread aisle. A lot of the healthier breads are kept frozen. If your local store doesn't carry what you need, talk to the store manager. Most of them will order products for you if you ask. And of course, you can always order online through Amazon or Thrive Market. If you're really motivated and you want to make bread at home, here's a simple oat bread recipe that takes about an hour and a half total. You'll need 2 cups of whole wheat flour, 1 cup of rolled oats, 1 packet of active dry yeast, 1 cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and a pinch of salt. Dissolve the yeast in the warm water with a tiny bit of stevia. Let it sit for about 5 minutes until it gets foamy. Mix the flour, oats, and salt in a big bowl. Pour in the yeast mixture and olive oil. Stir until it comes together into a dough. Knead it for about 8 to 10 minutes on a floured surface, then put it in a greased bowl, cover it with a towel, and let it rise for about 45 minutes. Punch it down, shape it into a loaf, put it in a greased loaf pan, and let it rise again for another 20 minutes. Bake at 350 for about 30 minutes until it sounds hollow when you tap the top. Let it cool, slice it up, and you've got homemade oat bread that you know exactly what went into. Before I wrap up, let me give you a few general rules that apply to all of these breads. First, portion matters. Even the healthiest bread in the world will raise your blood sugar if you eat half a loaf. Stick to 1 or 2 slices per sitting. Second, always pair your bread with protein or healthy fat. A slice of bread by itself hits your bloodstream faster than a slice of bread with some turkey or avocado on it. The protein and fat slow everything down. Third, read your labels every single time. Companies change their recipes, and what was a good product last year might not be the same this year. Look for short ingredient lists with words you can actually pronounce. Fourth, if you're ever unsure about how a particular bread affects your blood sugar, test it. Eat a slice, check your glucose before and about 2 hours after, and see what happens. Your body is your best laboratory. I've been doing this for 15 years, and the one thing I've learned is that managing diabetes doesn't have to mean giving up the foods you love. It means getting smarter about them. And bread, the right kind of bread, can absolutely be part of your life. I hope this was helpful today. If it was, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future videos. Drop a comment below and tell me which bread you're going to try first. Or if you've already been eating one of these, let me know how it's been working for you. I love hearing from you guys. And as always, talk to your doctor before making any big changes to your diet. Every person is different, and what works for one guy might not work the same for another. Stay healthy, gentlemen, and I'll see you in the next one.